So first of all, I'm starting off with some sanding, and I'm going to sand the top completely back to natural because I'm going to stain that. The sander I'm using is just the Makita Orbital, and I'm starting with an 80 grit sandpaper and working my way up to a 180 grit sandpaper. Alright, so I finished sanding the top and it's come up really nice. I was tossing up between sanding the whole lot, giving it a whitewash and bleach because I just love that look, or just sanding the top and painting the rest because I do have a really nice paint colour that I want to give a crack. Look, so I'm just going to go ahead, take all the knobs off and give it a light sand first and see how I feel. I think I'm going to go with painting it just because it will be a lot easier and quicker, and like I said, I've got that colour that I want to try, so we'll see how she comes up. So I've just got a screwdriver and I'm just going to go ahead and take all the knobs off now. So as you can see, I decided to sand the drawers and the top. I'm thinking of painting everything except for these drawers. So then I've got a good mix of both sanded and painted. I'm going to go over the whole thing now with just some 180 grit. I started with 80 just to get the finish off nice and quickly, and now I'm going to smooth it out with a 180. Right, so I'm just using some 80 grit sandpaper. Just going to give it a go by hand, just by folding it and going around the edges in here. Seems to be working good so far, so I'm just going to continue and do that. Now this is the time consuming part, but it will be worth it when you're done because it will look amazing. One down, 3 to go. I ended up doing a mix of just sanding, like hand sanding and folding the paper, and I just used this small paintbrush that I have and wedged it into the sandpaper into the groove, and found that really helped as well. The corners were really hard, but look, with a bit of patience, I got there, and look, I've got 3 more to do. I'll just do them when I got some time. All right, it took what seemed like forever, but they are all done. All the grooves in those 4 drawers are sanded. So now I'm going to give the entire piece a really good clean, and we are ready to move on to some paint and some staining. All right, so for this piece here, I wanted to try some Artisan paint. I've got some in the duck egg. It's this color here. So I'm going to go ahead and paint all the frames and the sides of the drawers, and then I'll move on to the 2 lower drawers. But for now, I've just taken up sort of the edges here where I don't want to get some paint because I am a bit of a messy painter. You don't have to. Some people paint it with the drawers in and find that a bit easier, so that's a great option as well. For me, I know that I'm, as I said, very messy, and I just find it easier to take all the drawers out. So I've just taped up the corners, and I'm just going to go ahead and paint on my duck egg. I'm just going to start off with my smaller brush first, just for the frames, because it's nice and thin, and then I'll move on to a bigger brush when we get to the sides. So the drawers and the chest is all drying. So it's just the first coat. We'll put another coat on there, sanding in between. And here are the drawers. I'm going to decide on a colour to stain them. And then once we've finished all the painting, we can go ahead and stain them. Alright, so everything is dry. I'm just going to go through and give it a light sand, and we'll go in with another coat. Just using one of these sanding pads, and it is a very fine sanding pad just from Bunnings. My partner accidentally turned the tap on, which is right there, without the hose in it, and it blasted all over this drawer. And as you can see, it's got some watermarks. So look, I'll have to definitely sand that out. I'd have to give that one a bit of an extra paint. Alright, so next up we are going to stain the drawers and the top of the drawers here. For the stain, I've chosen the Pureco Stain and Glaze in Carob, as I think that'll complement the duck egg that we've chosen for the rest of the piece quite nicely. To apply it, I'm just using a chip brush from Dixie Belle. You can also use a lint-free cloth as well, up to you. I'm going to start off with the brush and see how that goes and go from there. So to get your surface ready for the stain and glaze, just give it a good wipe down. Make sure you've got rid of any excess dust and any other dirt that might have gotten on there, and you're ready to go. getting dark now, but the stain is on. I've given it a wipe off, and that's what it looks like. It's still drying, so it's a little bit patchy, but we'll let it dry, see how it looks in the morning. Right, so they're all dry. Time for a little bit of a sand and another coat. With the stain being fully dry, it's ready for some top coat. For that, I'm using the Cabbots clear water base, and I'm just using a applicator sponge to apply it all. I'm going to do 3 coats on the very top because it's a high wear area, and then a coat on the front of the drawers as well. I'm also going to use some furniture wax all over the chalk painted areas. So this piece is done. I just have to attach the handles, and they came today, so I'm going to go ahead and do that now.